Good morning. I chose that reading this morning from Science of Mind magazine because I realized I don't know how many of you read that magazine or you subscribe to it. It is phenomenal, and that was just one of the daily readings. You have a reading for every day. But the people that they're interviewing for the magazine these days are very well-known people, and Joe Dispenza is one that's on this current issue, and I just couldn't put it down, so I thought I'm going to start promoting readings from Science of Mind because they also have twice-a-month newsletters that you can get for free online. They're really working hard at the corporate level to bring a wide variety of ways to learn this teaching. Well, the title for this morning is Your Personal Self. And when you were a child, did you ever ask, why, Daddy? Why, Mommy? Why? I know Paul had one daughter that would ask why at least 5 times a day about various things. But as an adult, we more than often ask, why am I here? And it's not what am I here to do or how I'm going to do it, but why am I here in the first place? I know some people have asked that. I don't know why I'm here. Well, recently I attended the conference for Centers for Spiritual Living in Irvine, and it was really fantastic with great guest speakers and music and workshops, and afterwards on the minister's listserv, so many people said it was the best ever. Now, our conferences that used to be held at Asilomar grounds down by Monterey were always the best ever, so why would this one in a hotel in Irvine be the best ever? What made it different? And for me, the subject was, why are we doing all this? Why are we doing all this? Whether you're a minister, a practitioner, a board member, or just here in the congregation, the truth is when we know why we're doing it, it makes the what we do and how we do it a lot easier to figure out. One presentation was based on a YouTube video, Simon Sinek, called Start With Why. If you get a chance, read that, Start With Why. He draws 3 consecutive rings, a small ring, a larger ring, and then a bigger ring. And in the middle ring is the word why. Why are we here? What's our purpose? And the next ring is how. How are we going to work with that purpose? And then the last ring is what. What specifically are we going to do to live our purpose? And so he said if we live from the inside out, from the middle of the ring on why, out, life unfolds in a more beautiful, loving, wonderful way. And so I asked, what is the why of Science of Mind? Why is this teaching here? That was a good question to think about for a couple days. And I opened the Science of Mind text, and in the beginning of the 50th anniversary edition, which I have, William Hornaday, who was a friend of Ernest Holmes, wrote this. The founder, Ernest Holmes, asked many of the people he met, what I really want to know about are the results of your beliefs. Are you satisfied with the results? Where are you going in life? And most people would say, I don't know. And Holmes would say, well, something in you does know, so let's find out. You know, he was very happy. His nickname was Happy. Let's find out if you're not satisfied. Let's find out. So Dr. Holmes did many, many years of study and research. He read all the world's spiritual traditions. He, as he said, enabled us to see through the mist to the eternal and changeless reality. I think that's just beautiful. Sometimes it's called piercing the veil, to see a changeless reality that is really behind all of this. You know, it's an essential premise in this philosophy that Chris and Diana appropriately sing, there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Sometimes we don't think of us as God's life. In the Science of Mind, we believe there's this creative intelligence, and it created us to be spontaneous. You can do whatever you want to do. But Holmes said that we're always seeking freedom. Now, I find that interesting because in this country we're as free as any country could be, but in our individual lives, there's something that still seeks freedom. So Science of Mind is a practical application for our life. It increases our knowledge of what the universe is all about. It's the study of first cause, God, spirit, God, the invisible essence, God, the power behind creation, God. And so I looked in the glossary and I thought, if we're looking at why we're here, what is our purpose? I looked in the glossary of Science of Mind on purposefulness, and in general it says, our purpose is driven by an inner recognition of the divine urge. Well, what does that mean? So I looked up divine urge, and it's the inner desire to express life. The desire to be more, to experience more, to have greater happiness, prosperity, love, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes we feel disappointed. Sometimes we feel happiness is fleeting. We get the piece of jewelry, we get the piece of clothes, we get the car, we get this, we get that, and it's not too long before we're already thinking about something else that we want. And it's so, satisfaction is a fleeting feeling. And why? Because we have a divine urge in us. It's a divine urge. It's an urge to expand, to grow, to evolve. And this urge continues. It's in the universe. It's unlimited. So what we offer here at the center is to help you find your path to what we call mature spirituality. Now, you don't hear those words too often. They're kind of like, well, we know that. To mature ourselves in a spiritual way, we learn how infinite intelligence works, the law of cause and effect. But the truth is, God uses us as the perfect channel for the evolution of the whole universe, the evolution of the whole universe. That's amazing when you think about it. Through our five senses, though, we see war, we see poverty, we see hunger, we see a lot of disharmony in the world. And the truth is, humanity is slowly learning. It's a slow process. It's a slow process to learn that we're all one. You know, we hear it lately in music. We're all one. We read about it in books and magazines. We learn about it in this thing called mindfulness. We hear about it in classes like yoga and Tai Chi. It's a slow awakening. As a species, we're waking up. We're waking up to the power of love and the awareness of oneness. So let's look at our why, our center circle, our why. Why should anyone care this center exists? Why? We know what we do here. We do classes and workshops and services, and we work hard to connect our why to everything that we do because it sets the stage. We're wanting you, as best we can help you, to mature spiritually. Our why is our vision statement. The center is here to inspire and empower people to lead spiritually fulfilling lives. That's it. And I think we do it well. Yet there are many opportunities to expand that, like doing online classes and all kinds of other things. But when I came to the center in 1989, I was so moved that first Sunday. I started taking classes immediately. And I found it profound to realize that my soul is going to continue to go on in eternity, forever. So what I'm learning here helps prepare me for the next experience. If you haven't realized it, our time here on earth compared to eternity, we're going to be there more than we are here. So why do this over and over again? Why don't we learn now? Why don't we find the best love we can give? Why don't we experience our oneness more? Why don't we love people more? Why not do it now? Expand our spiritual maturity. And just know that from here, it's going to be a heck of a lot more fun than if we have to do this all over again. So this life here is a temporary assignment. So the studies we do here and the experiences we have here with like-minded people help prepare us for that. Expanding my knowledge about all this is my passion. I do it, I read, I study, day in and day out. Ask Paul, gee, Minnie, Christmas, you ordered another book. Where are we going to put that? What are you going to get rid of? But my personal goal, I guess I could say, is to embody the characteristics of God. Peace, power, beauty, and joy. If I even did that, what a kickoff I'd have to the next experience of my soul. So in looking at my why, my how, my what, I know I'm the creator of my reality. I've learned how it works. I'm still not totally sure how it does it. How do my prayers and my beliefs act like a magnet and draw like energy to me when I didn't even know that like energy existed? I mean, sometimes it's like a little magic dust that somebody had to spray over something, I don't know. But I understand the process. And I understand there's energy behind what I believe. It's truly a participatory universe. We truly are participating with spirit, with God, with infinite intelligence. And because we're co-creators, what we spend our time on is very, very important. So here's 3 questions. Where do you choose to spend your time? I choose to spend my time in creative writing, reading, teaching, loving, especially loving my family, loving Paul, and loving our cats, and loving you. That's my focus. I get up in the morning, and how can I expand my experience of that, expand my awareness of that? It was interesting, on all the pages of notes I took at the conference, and there were dozens of pages of notes, that I finally wrote in the side margin, I think I'm also here to share that everything's unfolding perfectly. And I say that because so often in a class or people come up to me and say, you know, things are just awful. Things are awful in the world, and they're horrible here, and they're bad there, and this person and that. And I invite them to see all this from God's eyes. The age of the universe, billions of years old. We've been here at such a tiny part of the time. And it's through our co-creation with infinite intelligence that things are changing. Humanity is changing. Yes, it's slow, but in the time of eternity, it's probably fast. I don't know. It feels slow. We have the total freedom to move all this forward, to move our love forward, to move our gratitude forward, to move appreciation for our oneness forward. And so if you spend your time doing that, good for you. And if you spend your time criticizing, knocking down other things, come and see me. Let me help you see that big picture. Because either we're contributing to the spiritual maturity of humanity or we're not. There's a lot of people that aren't. And I'm not saying here, I'm just saying in the world. There's a lot of people that still have war with one another, think awful of one another, kill one another. So we've got a ways to go. The world may not look too pretty at times, till you just go out in the forest or to the ocean and you go, phew, it's still here. But we're continuing to evolve. We have the capacity to, at some point, feel that peace that's beyond all understanding. And I know that in my heart, and I know when I felt that. So I ask again, where are you spending your time? Second question, what areas are you committed to growing and developing in yourself? In classes, I like to inspire critical thinking. Now, critical thinking is not critical of other people. It's critical, like, here's a principle. Tell me, is this really true? Critically look at it and look at all the sides of it and see if you really can accept this is true or this is not true, whatever. And I'm committed to the study of science. I don't know how I got into that. Ask me about Higgs boson, I'll talk your ear off. You know, I love science. Why? Because it's starting to confirm what Ernest Holmes wrote about in the 1930s, which just blows my mind. I also am committed to developing my speaking and writing skills. I still don't have the courage to walk away from the platform and kind of wing it. Jim Quabell is often saying, get out from behind the platform. And I go, but what about my notes? And I worked hard on these. So maybe I'll get there. I don't know. But if you just listen to what I'm saying, who cares if I'm walking around, right? I'm committed to bringing more love and acceptance through my interactions with people, whether it's at the store or in a class or wherever it might be. Bringing more love and acceptance to that. I go to the Living Hope Ministry about every 2 weeks and deliver shoes. And they are so sweet because Barbara Bella and her friends knit all these hats and scarves for Christmas for all the homeless that they serve. And somebody dropped off a big box of yarn, unused yarn, and she said, I bet your friend would like to have this. And isn't that sweet that they thought of us first when they got that? So that's developing those kind of relationships. So what are you committed to? Good question, huh? What's your personal promise to the world? Didn't know I had to have one. But it's a good question. What's your personal promise to the world? And I think for me, it's to do my best. May not appear to be your best, but it's the best I'm doing for myself right now. To live in integrity, you know, as the what do we call ourselves? I know here, but in the ethics department, we're co-chairs of the ethics department for the whole organization. And one of the things I find is when those cases come to us, it's often a lack of integrity. So I'm really committed to that in myself. And I'm committed to inspiring teamwork so that we all work together, so that as we work together, we are creating the result of the why question, that we're working together as a team. So what's your personal promise to the world? Be a good thing to talk about over lunch, I think. You know, the thing is, I'm so inspired that I even know this much, that I can even share this much. But that's why I'm so inspired about this teaching. So I go back to our vision statement, our why. Inspiring and empowering people to live spiritually fulfilling lives. It doesn't say how we're going to do it or what we're going to do. But you might say, well, what in the heck is a spiritually fulfilling life? Well, I went to an interesting book. If you know Pastor Rick Warren of Saddleback Church in Southern California, he has an 8,000-member church. It's pretty awesome. And he offers all that he teaches to all the ministers in the country. So you could get the resources on there that are just incredible. So I pulled his book off the shelf, A Purpose-Driven Life. Perfect title to go with this. And he describes several ways to know if we're living a spiritually fulfilling life. And here's the top 3. Have a purpose to live for. You know, spiritual growth is not automatic. It's not done by memorizing scripture. He even says that. It's learning how to embody the characteristics of God, which requires your intention and your commitment. What a great purpose for life, if we even focused on that. It's a slow process, but we're all a work in process. But here we learn the benefits of positive thinking, which impacts the way we feel, and the way we feel impacts the way we act. Finally, our self-centeredness softens, and we start appreciating other people and the gifts that we give the world. that will contribute positively to the evolution of humanity, even if it's in a small way in Redding, California. It's part of the evolution of humanity. The second way to know if we're living a spiritually fulfilled life is, do we have a group of people around us? That's what this spiritual community is about. You meet new people, you make new friends, you enjoy doing things together, you work and play together. And the ministers and practitioners are here to support you. You know, it's fun to spend time with people who have similar beliefs, who share similar beliefs. And it's fun to be with people who are authentic. You find a lot of that here. That's why when you become a member or involved in this center, you want to help keep the center going well. It isn't up to one or two people to do the landscaping, to clean the cottage, to do the maintenance. We have a wonderful maintenance team. People want to keep this center in really good condition, and that's an outpicturing of being part of a group of people that care about each other, and then also end up caring about the center. So we have the various SEVA teams that are part of that, whether it's maintenance or landscaping. We get to know one another, and we get to develop a level of respect for one another. Not that we're all the same, but what happens is our circle of friends expands. So the third way to know if we're living a spiritually fulfilling life is having principles to live by. Now, I could rattle off all the principles, but principles guide us along the way. This is how we do start to change from the inside out. You know, it's like taking a caterpillar when you walk in the door and creating a butterfly that flits around the universe in brilliant colors and is just happy and joyful to be alive. Our number one principle, if you didn't know, is oneness. There is one infinite intelligence, one source, one being which creates everything out of itself. We call it many names, including God, universal spirit, universal intelligence, first cause, the thing itself. The second principle is love. And there are other principles. One is freedom, goodness, eternal life, and more. If we feel oneness and we feel love, and we could expand that in the world, what great things could happen. So whether you make use of the activities we have for you, and a number of us create these activities, I can tell you that when you participate, the ministers and practitioners are thrilled because you've consciously decided to join this spiritual evolution for your own life. We're thrilled that you do that. It's just so wonderful. So we encourage you to think about the implications, not just here in this little experience of eternity, but where you go forward. I really believe that the future is filled with infinite promise. I'm really excited about the future. I wouldn't want to live any other time, even though I know I did. Who knows what I was doing? I don't know. But right now, it's so exciting. It's like there's a shift going on. And you hear it in the media, and you hear it in little places, and people are starting to connect the dots. I want to help more people connect the dots. So your future begins today. Begin with exploring your why. Why you're here. And when you figure that out, some morning you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to smile. Because you've recognized your true personal self, and it is good. And you will know with confidence that your life's unfolding perfectly. So let's pray about that. Oh, in this moment, I just feel the love of God. I just feel so content in creating this message of God's love. Creating this message that says, hey, God, we're in this together. I want to be more like the characteristics of that one. It's hard to do it alone. So I encourage everyone to do it in community. That's where the richness is. That's where the joy is. That's where the new friends are. That's where we go home and contemplate our evolution. How we have moved, like I have moved from 1989 to 2018. Holy cow, I would have never imagined it. But I know this is the process for me. So I accept that if this is the process for you, that you jump into life. Doesn't mean parachuting out of a plane. It means jumping into life and experiencing God as you, impacting the whole world from little old Redding, California. It's totally possible. It's infinitely possible. And so for that knowledge itself, I give thanks. Knowing today is a new day, today begins our future, and I accept that and will do my best and encourage you to do your best to make it a world that works for everyone. And so it is.